Currently, for all firearm purchases or transfers, has to go through somewhat of a background process with the Department of Justice. I believe that the author is only seeking that if a person is going to be assembling one of these firearms, that one, it goes through a background process like all other firearms in California, and that it has a serial number in order to identify it, and that would be supplied by the Department of Justice to the individual upon their approval for that assembly.
So if I want to manufacture a gun that's referenced in this legislation and I apply for my permit, so there's a background check, whether I've manufactured it yet or not is not a problem.
I think we're looking at it within 10 days of the manufacturing or assembling of the firearm that they have to seek that approval. So we would treat this like any other dealer record of sale process and complete it within that time frame and get back to the individual with that serial number so they can affix it to the receiver of the firearm.
So I have 10 days upon completion of the manufacturing.
Yes, within 10 days.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I move the bill.
Thank you. The bill has been moved. We're going to call the roll first, and
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, I know the Department of Justice had brought the 80% receivers as well as two examples of weapons that have been manufactured at home. I don't know if you just like maybe a minute or two so they can just describe to the members what these weapons are.
I was going to ask you to close.
Okay.
Senator De Leon.
Okay. Well, Madam Chair, thank you very much, and thank you very much for the opportunity, colleagues. This is a vexing problem, not just in California, but throughout the state. Weapons that are flooding the highways. I think it was made reference to weapons that are crossing border quite easily that fuels the violence of the drug cartels in Mexico and elsewhere. Weapons that are being manufactured in high numbers in garages and in homes and other places of business. What we're asking, I don't believe, is too intrusive, but what I'm hearing, from, Senators Stone and Anderson, I sense that you agree that this is a vexing issue that we have to work out some form, way, or shape. I'd be more than happy to figure out how we can be as less onerous and have no potential unintended consequences on the law-abiding citizen, who adheres to the Second Amendment of the Constitution, who makes a weapon for sheer hobby. Obviously, we know you cannot sell that because it's illegal, and we know that this is happening, that hobbyists have actually started entering into this market, believe it or not, selling because they see it's something that's lucrative for them. Yeah, I think at one time it used to be a hobby. Times have changed. And when these weapons are flooding the streets and putting our law enforcement agents in jeopardy, our communities in jeopardy, we as policymakers need to step in as quickly as possible. So with that, Madam Chair, as well as members, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if there had been a description of the drug part of the gun parts that are on the table, and I'm wondering if the Department of Justice could explain a little bit about that to us.
Yes, ma'am. So this particular device in my hand is the outer edges of it here are what's called a jig or a fixture. Inside it here, where I'm putting my fingers now, there's actually a receiver that's been partially opened up by a machining process. If I open this up, it's going to look much like this here in my hand, where the small parts, the trigger and hammer and so forth, could be dropped in to the firing chamber and whatnot. So there's a polymer version, plastic, that could be opened up with basically a Dremel and some drill bits, much easier. This particular one here is completely unfinished, but still resembles visually a firearm receiver for the AR-15 style weapons. This black one here is actually, one licensed or made by a licensed manufacturing location to ATF standards with the proper depth of imprint and font and whatnot. So this is what the bill might turn this one here into this, if this bill does go forward.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's helpful for us to understand actually how these machines work. the bill has been moved. We're going to call the roll. We're going to call the roll for attendance to establish our quorum. We'll then call the roll on the bill. I would simply note that, as Senator De Leon said, there is no silver bullet in this work. Having done it through several mass shootings and tragedies in this state over a number of years, gun safety regulation seems to be plugging one small loophole after another. And there is great ingenuity in the people that want to see these firearms on our street. And many of the bills we have today are going to be moving forward on one way or another to making sure that we have safe communities. So thank you for bringing the bill. Senator De Leon, could we establish a quorum, please?
Hancock?
Here.
Hancock here. Anderson? Here. Anderson here. Glazer? Glazer here. Leno? Here. Leno here. Liu? Liu here. Monning? Here. Monning here. Stone? Stone here.
Okay, and please call the roll. The motion is due pass to appropriations.
Hancock?
Aye.
Hancock, aye. Anderson? No. Anderson, no. Glazer? Aye. Glazer, aye. Leno? Aye. Leno, aye. Liu? Liu, aye. Monning? Aye. Monning, aye. Stone? Stone, no.
Okay, that bill has enough votes, and it, yeah, I know. The bill has enough votes to pass. Everyone is here, so the bill is out. Senator De Leon, you have another bill, number 21, SB 1235.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, as well as members, for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 1235, which clarifies the definition of ammunition, an issue raised by Parker versus the state of California. In a 2011 Superior Court in Fresno, California, a Superior Court ruled in Parker versus State of California that the definition of handgun ammunition was unconstitutionally vague and enjoined the state attorney general from enforcing AB 962. This was a measure a handful of folks were here, I remember, that I carried to regulate the sale purchase of handgun ammunition. This case currently, Parker versus the state of California, is on appeal and pending before the California Supreme Court. 1235 seeks to resolve the vague definition issued by having AB 962, having the 962 provisions applied to all ammunition, and defining it to mean one or more loaded cartridges consisting of a primer case propellant as well as a projectile. California has enacted legislation designed to keep guns out of the hands of criminals, but has done very little to prevent criminals as well as gang members and individuals who are severely mentally ill from purchasing the ammunition that fuels the gun violence. AB 962 was passed back in 2009 to begin to address criminal access to ammunition by requiring handgun ammunition vendors to collect certain information from the purchaser, a type of handgun ammunition sold. And it also required the sale or transfer of handgun ammunition to be completed in face-to-face transactions. The law sought to provide law enforcement with clear information on who is selling and who is buying ammunition. It focused at that time, when I was in State Assembly, on handgun ammunition because handguns are the primary weapons of choice in the crimes in California. However, given the lawsuit and the court case, Parker versus State of California, again, which is pending before the California Supreme Court, it is necessary to clarify that definition. So I'm trying to be helpful to those with regards to the lawsuit. With me here to testify in support is Amanda Wilcox from the Brady Campaign to End Gun Violence. Madam Chair, as well as Mr. Vice Chair and members, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Good morning again. Here on behalf of the 27 California chapters of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. Our chapters were very strong supporters of AB 962, which was passed in 2009, and as you heard, that law was challenged and is currently on appeal and pending before the California Supreme Court. And so this bill seeks to resolve that issue regarding the vagueness of the definition of handgun ammunition and make it apply to all ammunition. We supported AB 962 and obviously support this bill to resolve that issue. Separate from that, on a policy matter, we have come to the position where we feel that handguns and long guns need to be treated the same. I think at one point it was felt that handguns are used more in crime, so a number of laws were passed that just applied to handguns. But long guns are used more and more in crime in California. More long guns than handguns are purchased every year, and further in the Armed Prohibited Person System program, it is found that almost half the guns recovered are long guns. So there are many long guns in prohibited persons' hands. They need to be regulated just like handguns. So there's no reason that AB 962, it would be far better if that original bill, AB 962, on a policy matter also applied to long gun ammunition. And I would just like to point out the importance of regulating ammunition sales, because we all talk about how criminals don't follow gun laws. There's so many illegal guns out there. A way to get a handle on the illegal guns is through the regulation of ammo sales. The city of Sacramento passed an ordinance where just data about the transaction of purchase of ammunition was transmitted to the Sacramento Police Department. They were to compare that with who is prohibited from owning a gun. If someone's prohibited from owning a gun and we have no records of the gun, but they're buying ammunition, that tells you something. And in fact, the Sacramento Police Department was able to go to these homes and recover illegal guns and bomb-making equipment, all kinds of nasty stuff. So this is clearly in the interest, regulating ammunition sales. I understand, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to pretend that I understand all the code sections and such. I understand there is some confusion perhaps in how this is drafted, but I trust that that will be fixed if necessary as this bill moves through the process. I urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Are there others in support of the bill? Please come forward.
Ari Freilich on behalf of the Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence.
Thank you. Others in support? Are there speakers in opposition to the bill? Please come forward.
What happened to Ed? What's that? What happened to Ed?
He had to go downstairs.
Thank you.
Madam Chair and members, I find myself doing this a lot more often. Let me give you a little bit of perspective on what this bill actually does. First of all, in reading the briefness of the bill, we believe that by redefining ammunition in the manner that was done in the writing of this bill, it will create confusion throughout the penal code, and that is never a good thing, because the only people that are affected by that are the law-abiding citizens who inadvertently are put in a position where they're committing some sort of a crime. Secondly, let's talk about the ammunition regulation that is being considered here. Last year in the state of California, there were 1.75 million firearms transactions, as reported by the Department of Justice. The year before, there was 1.5 million, and it has continued to go on an uphill slide. It continues to climb. The average person who purchases a new gun purchases approximately 4 boxes of ammunition at different times for their new firearms in order to train and to practice, and then to keep the ammunition at home. Now you take 1.75 times 4, and that will be the number of transactions that will have to be recorded and monitored in the database, background checks done, all of the stuff that has to be done according to this bill. That we're talking multiple millions now, and those are just for the guns that are newly purchased. There are 40 million guns in private possession in the state of California. The number of transactions that occur on the purchases of ammunition are in the tens of millions. And Department of Justice is going to be charged with doing the database check and the background checks for each and every one of those transactions. It doesn't matter if they buy 1 round, a box, a case, or a pallet of ammunition. We have another concern. as gun owners. We have kind of a distrust with the government regulators. What is going to happen to us when we are active, competitive shooters? I shoot shotguns, I shoot handguns, and I shoot rifles. When I buy shotgun ammunition, I don't buy it by the box. I buy it by the cases, and with other people, by the pallet. What's going to happen when law enforcement agency, especially a rookie who's assigned to processing these ammunition registration and regulation, and they look to see that I have purchased 25,000 rounds of shotgun ammunition in one purchase? It happens all the time in the state of California. No crimes are being committed by anybody who does this. But over a year's period of time of collecting this data, they may find that me personally, I might have purchased 100,000 rounds of ammunition. Do you think I'm not going to get a knock on the door from a police officer saying, why are you buying so much ammunition? What are you doing? And they're going to find out, oh, I'm a competitive shooter. I shoot 2,000 or 3,000 rounds of ammunition per week of various kinds. In some competitions or some training events, I will shoot 1,000 rounds of ammunition in a day and a half. And I am not unique. This is not going to do the vast majority of purchasers of ammunition. We're talking in the 90% are not criminals. They're the law-abiding. They're the ones who are going by all the laws, and we are fashioning a bill here to try to get a very small universe of people that are purchasing ammunition at the expense of the great majority of shooters. Now, all of this that I just shared with you is not in the bill, but it is the result of changing the definition in order to moot out a case that is before the California Supreme Court. Those are the realities. You will make it illegal for people to be able to purchase ammunition as they do now, legally, through mail order. You will make it illegal for shipping agencies like UPS and FedEx to deliver them because they cannot comply with all of the regulations required to document the transaction. The impact, economic impact, not to mention the impact on shooters, is massive. We're talking databases that will rival the Department of Motor Vehicles. And if the Department of Justice is capable of implementing a new program like that, wow. Right now, we're having trouble with the databases that they are managing. I get calls every week from dealers who are saying, well, the dealer record of sales system is down again. I can't transfer a gun. I can't deliver a gun that was legally purchased. I can't do a background check. And those databases are much, much smaller. So for these reasons, Gun Owners of California is unalterably opposed to this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, members of the committee, I know that a number of members have talked about the importance of eliminating confusion in the penal code, in particular when it comes to dealing with firearms. Our concern is that this redefinition adds additional confusion. It does not make things any clearer. And the average citizen who does not have an attorney, on retainer is the one that's going to be forced to comply with these redefinitions and these laws. Our concern is what this bill will eventually become. And that's largely because this is the one place where anybody and everybody who has a concern about a measure, policy or just ideologically, can come and will be heard. This is it. And so as this bill moves forward, any additional changes or amendments to the bill, anything that will make this thing much more onerous on gun owners, this may be the only real opportunity where we have to have a voice. We believe that this bill needs to be clarified. We believe that as it is currently written, it is ambiguous in terms of what it actually does, and it's for these reasons that we oppose this measure.
Thank you. Others in opposition to the bill? Seeing and hearing none, are there questions or comments from committee members? Or is there a motion on the bill? The bill's been moved by Senator Leno. Senator De Leon, would you like to close and perhaps address some of the concerns that were?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I'm not going to belabor this issue. I know you have 37 bills, or 35 bills now before you. There'll be plenty of time between now and appropriations we get to the floor, when we get to the other side, there'll be plenty of times to work out certain issues. There's no question about it. We're going to have to work out certain components of this. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. So my door is open to the opponents of this measure. It always has been. I'm trying to be helpful. They argue that it was constitutionally unvague, and hence the litigation that's before the Supreme Court. I'm trying to provide a little clarity now by removing the vagueness, ambiguity. Now they don't like the clarity of it. So they don't like the clarity, but they don't like the vagueness. I don't know what to do. I'm really trying my best to work with my opponent. So with that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Please read the roll.
Hancock?
Aye.
Hancock, aye. Anderson? No. Anderson, no. Glazer? Aye. Glazer, aye. Leno? Aye. Leno, aye. Liu? Liu, aye. Monning? Aye. Monning, aye. Stone? Stone, no.
Okay, that bill passes. Thank you very much, Senator De Leon. We're going to take advantage of the opportunity to pass the consent calendar, and then we'll hear from Senator Jackson. The consent calendar, item number 8 by Bell, SB 1013, item 9 by Hancock, SB 1031,